Welcome back to iTeachCybersecurity Academy, where our mission is to make cybersecurity simple, useful, and practical for everyone. If you are just joining us, this is the Cyber Threat Intelligence full course, and you are doing exactly what smart security professionals do, starting with the fundamentals and building up the right way. In this lesson, we move into Module 2, Introduction to Cyber Threat Intelligence, commonly referred to as CTI. In Module 1, you learned what intelligence is, how data becomes intelligence, and how analysts think. Now, we apply those foundations directly to the cyber domain. Here is the reality most organizations face today. They have firewalls, antivirus tools, intrusion detection systems, and dashboards full of alerts. Yet attacks still happen. Breaches still occur. The problem is not the lack of security tools. The problem is the lack of understanding of who is attacking, why they are attacking, and what actually matters most. That gap is exactly what cyber threat intelligence is designed to solve. This module introduces CTI as a discipline that supports cybersecurity decision-making. You will learn what CTI really is, how it differs from traditional cybersecurity operations, how threats and risks are defined in cyberspace, how intelligence is used in real organizations, and how indicators of compromise help detect cyber threats, along with their limitations. By the end of this module, you will be able to clearly define cyber threat intelligence, distinguish it from traditional cybersecurity functions, explain why organizations need CTI, understand cyber threats and risk components, describe how CTI supports detection, prevention, and response, and identify common indicators of compromise and their weaknesses. Let us begin by understanding what cyber threat intelligence actually means. Cyber threat intelligence is evidence-based, analyzed information about cyber threats that enables organizations to make informed security decisions. In simple terms, CTI tells organizations who is attacking them, how the attackers operate, why they are attacking, and what can be done to stop or reduce the impact. CTI is proactive rather than reactive. It is context-driven rather than raw data. And it is decision-focused rather than tool-focused. Instead of reacting to alerts after damage has occurred, CTI helps organizations anticipate threats and prepare for them in advance. To truly understand CTI, we must distinguish it from traditional cybersecurity. Traditional cybersecurity focuses heavily on tools and controls. It is often reactive, responding after an attack has already begun. It deals mostly with alerts, logs, and events, and its primary concern is technical defense. Cyber threat intelligence, on the other hand, focuses on adversaries and their intent. It is proactive, aiming to understand threats before they cause damage. It transforms alerts and events into analysis and insight, and it supports not just technical defense, but strategic decision-making. CTI does not replace traditional cybersecurity. It adds meaning and context to security data. Organizations need CTI because cyber threats evolve rapidly. Attackers are organized, persistent, and adaptive. Security resources are limited, and not all threats are equally important. CTI helps organizations prioritize risks, anticipate attacks, reduce response time, and invest security resources where they matter most. Without CTI, organizations chase alerts endlessly. Security teams become overwhelmed, and decision-makers lack visibility into what is actually happening. CTI provides clarity in an environment filled with noise. It is also important to understand how CTI relates to other security functions. Cyber threat intelligence exists alongside threat hunting and incident response. CTI focuses on understanding threats and guiding decisions. Threat hunting actively searches for hidden threats inside the environment. Incident response focuses on containing, eradicating, and recovering from attacks. CTI informs both threat hunting and incident response by providing context, priorities, and insights. Cyber threat intelligence itself exists at different levels. Strategic CTI focuses on long-term trends and risks and is used by executives and policymakers. Operational CTI focuses on campaigns and threat actor behavior and is used by security managers. Tactical CTI focuses on indicators and attack techniques and is used by SOC analysts and incident responders. Together, these levels form a complete intelligence picture. To apply CTI effectively, we must understand threats and risk in cyberspace. Common cyber threats include malware, such as viruses and ransomware, phishing and social engineering attacks, insider threats, denial of service attacks, and advanced persistent threats, often referred to as APTs. A threat is a potential source of harm, while risk is the likelihood and impact of that harm occurring. A threat does not automatically equal risk. For example, malware may exist as a threat, but if systems are patched, segmented, and well monitored, the risk is significantly reduced. Risk is made up of three components. The first is the threat itself, such as an attacker or malicious activity. The second is vulnerability, which is a weakness that can be exploited, such as poor user awareness or unpatched software. The third is impact, which refers to the damage or loss that occurs if the event happens. Impact can be financial, operational, or reputational. Risk exists when all three elements come together. Consider a phishing example. The threat is phishing emails. The vulnerability is poor user awareness. The impact is credential theft. Or consider ransomware. The threat is a ransomware group. The vulnerability is unpatched systems. The impact is business shutdown. CTI helps organizations understand these relationships clearly so they can act intelligently. Now let us look at how CTI works in practice. CTI supports detection by identifying known attacker patterns, enhancing alert accuracy, and reducing false positives. Instead of treating every alert as equal, CTI helps security teams focus on what actually matters. CTI supports prevention by predicting likely attack paths, guiding security hardening efforts, and enabling proactive defense measures. Rather than waiting for attacks to happen, organizations can strengthen their defenses in advance. CTI supports response by speeding up incident investigations, helping attribute attacks, and improving containment strategies. When an incident occurs, intelligence provides context that allows teams to act quickly and effectively. Organizations expect CTI teams to deliver actionable intelligence, reduce uncertainty, support strategic decisions, and communicate clearly. Intelligence that cannot be understood or acted upon has no value. CTI analysts are expected to think analytically, understand attacker behavior, communicate effectively with both technical and non-technical audiences, and operate ethically and objectively. CTI is as much about judgment and communication as it is about technical knowledge. One of the most common outputs of CTI is indicators of compromise, or IOCs. IOCs are observable pieces of evidence that indicate possible malicious activity. They help answer a simple but important question: has something bad happened? Common types of IOCs include malicious IP addresses used for blocking or monitoring, domains associated with phishing or command and control infrastructure, file hashes that uniquely identify malicious files, and behavioral indicators such as abnormal login patterns or unusual network traffic. While IOCs are useful, they have serious limitations. They are often short-lived, easily changed by attackers, and tend to detect attacks after compromise has already occurred. IOCs alone are not enough for effective defense. This is why IOCs must be managed properly through the indicator lifecycle. Indicators are created when they are discovered or reported, validated to confirm they are truly malicious, deployed in detection systems, shared with trusted parties, and eventually expired when they lose relevance. Understanding this lifecycle prevents organizations from relying on outdated or misleading intelligence. To summarize this module, cyber threat intelligence provides context and insight into cyber threats. It differs from traditional cybersecurity by focusing on adversaries rather than tools. Understanding threats and risk is central to CTI. CTI supports detection, prevention, and response across the organization. Indicators of compromise are useful but limited and must be managed carefully. Key terms to remember from this module include cyber threat intelligence, threat, risk, vulnerability, impact, and indicator of compromise. This module brings us one step closer to understanding how intelligence is applied in real cyber environments. In the next module, we will dive deeper into tactical threat intelligence and explore how intelligence directly supports SOC operations and day-to-day security defense. If this lesson helped clarify what CTI really is, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Continue to the next module and keep building your cyber intelligence skills with iTeachCybersecurity Academy.